Clients make a lot of decisions whether you want them to or not. The question is, can you then understand how they make these decisions to help them make a good choice, be it buying from you or helping them understand your recommendations? So, in today's Morning for Visionaries, we're going over how clients in general make buying decisions, thought decisions, decisions to move forward with a project or idea, recommendations, and all these fun things. In general, this kind of sort of falls through a funnel. Now you might think, well, a lot of people make decisions very logically, or they make things very emotionally. The truth is that it's kind of a combination of all those things and more, how the stars align, and a lot of things. Though the process for how people make a decision generally still falls through these 3 steps in a funnel. Now I've said funnel a few times, and what do I mean by that? Simply said, is anyone making a decision, especially business people, are going to think through this high-level thing first, the second level, and the third in order to come to the final conclusion. Now, they're not going to be consciously thinking through these things. They are going to internally kind of just go through these and whip through these things, usually very quickly. Some will probably actually think through these things, but it usually follows this process. So let's jump to my screen here. And in general, people are going to make a decision in, like I said, a funnel. And kind of like in any funnel, we have this top where people are going to start making those decisions going in. And the funnel, as I mentioned, is going to have 3 steps. 1, 2, and 3. So in the first step, they're going to see if this thing you're proposing, the thing you're talking about, does it match their needs? So do they need it? Is it going to fulfill that specific need, requirement, this absolute must-have thing that cannot be swayed upon? They must have this red car. They must have these specific metrics in place. They must have this timeline. What are these must, needs, and absolute goals they have to have? Do they have to be quantifiable? No, but these things have to be met in order for anything else to ever be possible throughout this funnel. Second, and usually the slightly more fun one, is wants or optional kind of things. Do they actually really want this thing? And do they like it? Do they feel comfortable about it? And those kinds of things. Is that emotional kind of level? So first, do they absolutely need it? Now, do they want it? Are these optional things they want around it, in it, through it, these emotional things that they're going to get through it and from it, are these going to be met? Now, as I said, this is generally for business people. This is not for consumers. This is not for the, oh my gosh, I saw this cool, pretty thing out on the market and I'm going to go buy it because it's cute and fluffy. Not that kind of buying decision. This is a business decision we're talking about. And then the third one, after all those are met, after the needs are met, they have their goals and their metrics and all the things. Yes, this is going to hit this thing. And do I actually really do want it? It's going to make me happy. Is it going to make my career go farther? Does it meet my wants? Third, risk. Is it low risk enough, or can I accept the risk of doing these things, of accepting this decision to make sure that all of this goes through and I'm content with it? Because if I need it, I want it, but the risk is so extremely high, I'm not going to do it. So if I need it, and I definitely want it, and it has all the cool things I want emotionally, and the risk is acceptable, doesn't mean the risk has to be low, but it is acceptable risk, then they're going to do it. And this is in that specific order because people are kind of sort of that picky, especially when it comes to business. So do they need it? Do they want it? And does it have acceptable risk? Now, this can be done for almost every single business decision that anybody's going to ever create. Yes, there's going to be the complete emotional buy. Oh my gosh, this plugin looks so cool. Maybe I'll want it sometime, so I'm just going to buy it. Sure, there are those. Though, a lot of decisions that you can steer people through are going to have to meet these 3 criteria. So how does this work? Well, Very simply, you don't have to specifically take them through these kinds of steps, but you can start discussing and breaking down what their issues might be. If they absolutely don't need it, it's going to be a harder sell. If they need it but don't want it or it doesn't feel good, you're going to have a harder sell. And if they need it, they want it, but the risk, and you can't justify the risk, so that's going to be a little bit weird. From here, you can start saying, well, right, let's discuss what are your actual needs. Maybe this thing I've just proposed is not correct. Let's see what all the things can fit your needs. Maybe I don't understand something. Maybe there are better metrics we can put in place to see what can be done. Or maybe simply the thing that we've been discussing is really just not something you need at this point. Maybe it's a want. So let's treat it like just a pure want and not a need, and see what kind of metrics we can potentially put in place if you really want it. If for wants, it's after you've met the needs, wants are generally kind of easier. Again, this is the emotional type state. So you've gotten over the needs, let's say. So you start to discuss those, you set the metrics, you've set the goals, you've set the written, we need it because we need to build the building, we need these cars, we need these pieces of technology, right? We can now say, well, emotionally, is it going to advance the career? Is it going to ensure that everybody is doing everything that they want to and need to? Does it have these things that is going to make sure that you feel secured, taken care of? Does it have the items it has that will make sure that you look good in the eyes of your peers, or you can justify it easily to the board of directors? And from there, and see, these are the kind of questions you can start asking at each certain level. And then the risk, it's kind of straightforward. Is this a risk you can accept financially, time-wise, general personnel-wise? Or is this just a risk that you can justify emotionally? Maybe it might be something for you personally that's a bit difficult to do. So once you start breaking these steps down, it becomes a little bit easier to address each one. And that is how customers in general, and clients specifically, and business clients, generally make a business decision. Again, they might not specifically go through this in their minds step by step by step. They are going to at least go through these things very quickly in their mind, unconsciously. So once you know there is some resistance, you can start going through these and address them as needed. Pun intended. So to see which part is acceptable, which part needs adjustments, and which part you might need to push a little bit more. So that's it for today's Morning for Visionaries. If you have questions about how this funnel works, remember this is not particularly a sales funnel, this is just a decision funnel, how people work through things and think through making decisions, picking items and all these things. Leave your notes in the comments, questions in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer. Or if you want to go through a process like this with your company, give us a call. We'd be happy to train you guys on this and give you more information on how this works to help you make your client relationships even better. So Peter, signing off for today. Bye.